6 months ago, 11 people were killed at Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill. 2 other congregants were shot and wounded.
One of them is telling her story tonight in an exclusive interview. I recently sat down with Andrea Wedner, who was shot in the arm. Her mother, Rose, was killed. She told me that she feels lucky to be alive, and the shooting has changed her forever.
For Andrea Wedner, the morning of October 27, 2018, started like every Saturday. She picked up her 97-year-old mother, Rose, and headed to the Tree of Life Synagogue for services. They took their usual seats in the back of the sanctuary.
Just doing our usual thing, and all of a sudden we hear a loud crash out in the hall. Didn't know what it was. Some people thought it was the coat rack that may have fallen. And then right after that, we heard gunshots.
And you knew it was gunshots?
I knew it was gunshots. And my mother knew it was gunshots. She was scared. We were both scared. My life flashed before my eyes.
Just 20 feet from where Andrea and her mother were now standing, the gunman entered the sanctuary and opened fire.
There was no time to run?
No time, no. He was out to kill everybody. I told my mom, I said, let's get down, but before we could get down, we got shot.
Andrea was shot in the arm.
I saw it hit my arm. My arm flew open. And I went down on the floor, and at that point, my mother was hit too. I guess she was hit at the same time. We were both down on the floor. And I just laid there. And then he went around to the side and make sure everybody was dead.
And then you stayed on the ground. You played dead.
I played dead.
And you waited.
I waited.
The gunman moved to other rooms in the synagogue, shooting more victims.
For a while there, I just laid there. I didn't move. Then when he went out, I think maybe that's when it was quiet and I didn't think he was around anymore. I think I started, maybe lifted my head and saw.
She saw her mother, Rose, gravely wounded.
I told her I loved her. I felt her pulse. It was very light, and she had a sound coming out of her that I knew. I just knew she was gone.
315, hold a perimeter. We're under fire. We're under fire. He's got an automatic weapon. He's firing out of the front of the synagogue.
As police swarmed the area and surrounded the building, Andrea continued to play dead, worried she might bleed to death before help got to her.
And this whole time, your family didn't know what happened. They didn't know if you were alive or dead.
And that was something else I thought of, that I was scared for them because they were probably thinking I was dead.
A SWAT officer walking through the sanctuary was the first to see Andrea had survived.
I moved. I wanted him to know I was alive, and he told me to stay down. And then he came back in with the medic, and the medic came over and said to come with him.
Before leaving, she looked at her mother and said goodbye.
To die that way just wasn't fair. That's really what hurts the most. When I cry, I don't cry for myself. I don't cry for my injuries. I cry for my mother.
6 months later, she still finds it hard to believe that this happened in Pittsburgh, in Squirrel Hill, in her synagogue.
Never in my mind did I think that it would happen here, let alone to me. Never.
Mother's Day was a hard day for her yesterday, but Andrea says she is determined to live life to the fullest. More on her recovery and her message for Pittsburgh when we come back.